Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii, and in this video I'm gonna do a full agency business guide and kind of walk you through how everything works. The agency is a really cool property to have. You can make some good money with it, and it's got a really cool storyline with Franklin and Lamar and Damani the hacker. So just before we begin, if you go on to find this guide helpful, be sure to drop a like, that'd be awesome. Also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and drop a sub so you never miss any more awesome videos like these. Turn on the notification bell too while you're at it, and let's get straight into it. So to start off, obviously you need an agency. If you don't have one yet, go to the Maze Bank foreclosure website and buy one. The cheapest one is $2 million, the most expensive one is $2.8 million. There's 4 different locations you can get, and there isn't that much of a difference. I mean, the location is basically the only difference, and besides that, they're basically exactly the same. So don't feel like you have to go for the most expensive one. They're all in pretty good locations, but for the business guide, you don't need any of the upgrades, but feel free to upgrade whatever you want on it. It is going to cost you extra, keep in mind, but we are going to be using the computer in the office, which does come stock with the agency building, so no need to worry about that. Now go ahead and log into the computer. You do need to be either a CEO or an MC president to do that, and you got to be in a public session. I don't know if you guys want to go in a solo public session or just a session without a lot of people, so you have less of a chance of getting griefed, but that's obviously up to you. Once logging into the computer though, you'll see you have 2 different options. You have the security contracts and you have the VIP contract, and if it's your first time doing the contracts, you'll be forced to do the security contracts, and after doing one of the security contracts, you can go on to the VIP contract, which is the bigger overall job. Both of the contracts are a good way of making money, and I like to think of the security contracts kind of like the CEO's VIP work and the Terabytes client jobs. They're similar to those because they only take no more than a couple minutes to do, and you get a pretty good payout for them. You'll see the payout listed on all 3 of the security contracts, and it is a pretty good payout considering they take only a couple minutes to do. And next to the payout, you'll see the difficulty level. Basically, there's professional, there's specialist, and then there's specialist plus, which is obviously the hardest one. Now the payout depends on the difficulty level as well. For professional difficulty, which is the easiest one, it's roughly $40,000 to $50,000. For specialist, it's about $50,000 to $60,000, and then for specialist plus, it's roughly $60,000 to $70,000, which is really good. Now it can get a little annoying sometimes with the harder difficulties. I found sometimes the NPCs just have straight aimbot. Basically, I was flying with a Mark II oppressor and they were still somehow hitting me. I guess the gang members just lock on no matter what when shooting you sometimes. The security contracts are really straightforward though. You basically go to whatever location and then you either rescue someone or steal something or take out a certain person, and that's basically the gist of it. That's pretty much it for the security contracts. It's basically just a good way of making anywhere between $35,000 to $70,000 in only about a couple minutes. I guess if you're struggling with it and dying over and over and over again, it might take more like 10 minutes, but that's obviously depending on the player. And after you complete one of the security contracts, there's a small cooldown if you guys want to do another one, but the good thing is you can go straight to the VIP contract after doing only one security contract. So when you finish that security contract, you'll get a phone call from Franklin and he'll tell you to meet him at the entrance of the golf course, and you'll get a little F icon on the map as well. And at the golf course, that's where you're going to be meeting Dr. Dre. The VIP contract is basically Dr. Dre's contract, and for right now, that's the only available VIP contract. Maybe we'll get more VIP contracts in the future, but for now, this is the only one. And at the golf course, he just tells you basically his phone was stolen and there's unreleased music on it and he needs you to get it back. And then after the big Dr. Dre cutscene, you basically chase down some people in a golf cart. Dr. Dre had some beef with them at the golf course, and this is basically where you prove to Dr. Dre you're the worthy person to get his phone back. Once you're done with that mission, wait a little bit and then Franklin will call you once again, and then you'll get a mission where you break into the FIB building. This is one of the cooler missions in the game, honestly. You silently break in through the window and then you retrieve some data on a computer about Dr. Dre's phone. So both the golf cart mission and the FIB building mission are kind of like prep missions. After you finish both of these missions, you're gonna move on to like the main part of the VIP contract. So these next ones are the leak missions. You got Nightlife Leak, you got High Society Leak, and then you got South Central Leak. Basically, these are 3 sets of 3 missions, so you got 2 setups and then 1 finale in each one of these. So for example, you do the Nightlife Leak and you got 2 little setups for it and then 1 finale mission at the end, and that's one of the 3 leak categories, I guess I'll call them, done. Now in each of these 3 leak missions, you basically get some info from a dude that has a leak of Dr. Dre's songs, and then eventually in the finale you get the whole songs. After you complete all the leak missions, which in total should be 9, once again in each of them you have 2 setups and 1 finale, you're gonna know who stole the phone, and then you have 2 final missions to go. At the end of it, you're gonna get Dr. Dre's phone back if it wasn't obvious enough. The total payout you get for the a VIP contract is $1 million. That's not including the security contracts like couple 10,000 you get. And so is this a good payout? I think it is, but maybe it's a little too early to say. I mean, no one really knew how good of a payout Cayo Perico was when it first came out. We just needed to give it some time, and we saw how fast you can replay it and how good the payout was. So we'll see if the $1 million are worth it. In total, you need to do 13 missions the very first time, and then that's gonna get you $1 million. And then after, it's only gonna be 11 missions because you don't really have to do the golf cart and the FIB building missions again. You only have to do them once. So it's 11 missions for $1 million after doing it the first time. Even though you do 2 more missions the first time, it's not too bad because you do get a $100,000 bonus the very first time you complete it. So all in all, I do recommend you at least try it out. The storyline of this whole thing is pretty cool too. And since you sometimes have a cooldown after doing a mission, personally how I'd go for this is I'd switch off between doing VIP contracts and security contracts. So let's say you're waiting for another VIP contract to be available. Meanwhile, you could do another security contract and then get a quick $50,000 off that. That way you're constantly making money, and there's also a passive income side to the agency. Not a lot of people know about it. So just like the CEO office, you do have a safe next to you in the agency, and as I was casually playing the game, I noticed it was generating money from nothing, it seemed like. I'm not sure if it was from me doing contracts. Maybe the more security contracts you do, the more passive income you'll get. It wasn't a lot of money and it was a bit slow, but it was something. If you do know how the whole safe works, feel free to comment down below. But there's also another side to the agency that we haven't talked about yet. So after doing some security contracts, you guys will get a phone call from Franklin. Yeah, I know, another phone call from Franklin, but it's not just any ordinary phone call. You're actually going to be talking to Franklin on a payphone. Basically, when you drive by a payphone in online, you guys will hear the payphone ringing, and then you want to go ahead and answer that payphone, and then Franklin will tell you about someone you have to take out, and that's assassinating, not taking someone out on a date. And if you happen to not hear a payphone when driving next to one in GTA Online, just call up Franklin and you'll get a payphone icon on the map, and then you just go there. And the payout for this one is between $70,000 to $85,000, which is really good considering it doesn't take that long. It should take about the same time as the security contracts, more or less. After you complete some contracts, I'm not sure you have to complete them all the way or just have to complete some of them. You get a couple different options when you call up Franklin. You can request a security contract, you can request a payphone hit, which is exactly what we just talked about. You can get a company SUV, you can get an SUV service, or finally a supply stash, which is kind of like an ammo drop, you can say. Those are some cool options there. And then speaking of cool options, we got some very useful options when you call up Imani. When you call up Imani, you got Out of Sight, which is basically Ghost Organization just in a 500-meter range. It costs $3,000 less than Ghost Organization that you can get in the CEO menu, but keep in mind you're only in Ghost Org for players that are up to 500 meters away from you. And the final option is sourcing a motorcycle with bulletproof tires. I don't know how many people are actually going to use that, to be honest. Let me know how you're liking the new agency in GTA Online. I personally think it's a really cool property to have, but I hope you all did go on to enjoy this video. Hopefully you did go on to find this guide helpful. If you did, drop a like on it, subscribe if you guys are new, turn on the notification bell as well. Anyway though, this has been Hakiii. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace.